So if you had to place a bet, where would you say the only wild monkey population in all of Europe lives?
You'd probably think somewhere, wild and remote, deep in a forest somewhere.
Exactly. But you'd have to put all your chips on a very specific and very famous rock.
The Rock of Gibraltar, that's it. We're talking about the Barbary macaque.
And today we are doing a deep dive into their story,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, it's complicated, it's sometimes devastating, but also surprisingly hopeful.
It really is. They're a unique species, holding that title of Europe's only wild monkey, with a tiny colony of about 300 living on Gibraltar.
Okay, so let's place them on the map a little more broadly. Macaques as a group are, well, they're everywhere.
They're the most widespread monkey genus in the world. You find them from northwest Africa clear across to Japan, but the Barbary macaque is the one that made it the furthest west.
And that name, Barbary macaque, that has some history to it, right?
Yeah, it comes from an old medieval term for Northwest Africa, the Barbary Coast. So our mission today is to really trace their journey from this incredible peak roaming all over the continent through to the modern threats they face.
Threats like the illegal pet trade and some really harmful tourism.
Exactly. And then we'll get to the really optimistic part, these amazing conservation efforts that are happening right now back in their ancestral home in Morocco.
And there's a real sense of urgency here. I mean, just a few decades ago, they were pretty abundant. Now they're officially endangered.
The numbers are stark. They hit an absolute low of about 10,000 in the wild back in 2002.
Wow.
There has been a slight recovery, thankfully. Government protections have helped bring them up to maybe 15,000, mostly in Morocco and Algeria. But they are still facing these huge, huge hurdles.
And these are hurdles that, it seems, are almost entirely built by us.
100%.
So let's go back for a minute. Let's talk about their golden age, because their historical range was incredible.
Oh, it was vast. We aren't just talking North Africa. The archaeological evidence shows they were all across southern Europe, even into parts of Central Europe.
I even saw some evidence pointing to them being in what's now the UK and Germany.
It paints this picture of a really adaptable species. And what's so telling is that their first extinction, the disappearance from Europe thousands of years ago, it lines up almost perfectly with human expansion.
So we were the likely cause even back then.
It's the most probable cause. They were likely a food source. As
Yeah.
humans spread, the macaques they vanish from those northern areas.
And fast forward to today, and humans are still their number one predator, but the reason has changed completely. It's not about food anymore.
No. Now it's about profit and status. The biggest modern threat is, without a doubt, the illegal pet trade.
And this is just a horrific pipeline.
It's devastating. You have infants being literally snatched from their mother's arms. These are babies that need the whole troop, the whole social structure to survive and learn.
And they're smuggled into Europe.
Yes, they're often drugged, bound up, and stuffed into these tiny, dark containers to be sold on the black market.
The trauma of that alone must be immense.
Wow.
I mean, how does an animal recover from that, even if it's rescued?
Many don't. It fundamentally damages them, and they're sold for thousands of euros as this, exotic status symbol.
And if they're not sold as pets, there's another grim fate waiting for them.
The entertainment industry, and I use that term loosely, if you go to a place like the Medina of Marrakech, you might see them being used as monkey clowns.
Forced to do tricks for tourists.
Exactly. Pose for photos. It's just a constant, cruel supply line pulling these young monkeys from the wild into a life of abuse. It's a sad, undignified end for such an intelligent animal.
It really underscores the risk humans pose, even in what are supposed to be their protected wild homes. Let's pivot to that, to the danger of the semi-wild populations.
This is a huge issue. A perfect example is Ifrane National Park in Morocco. It's nicknamed the Switzerland of Morocco. It's beautiful, very popular with tourists.
And the macaques there have basically become a roadside attraction.
They have. They've become habituated to people, to cars. They've lost their natural fear.
And of course, tourists feed them. They think they're being kind, giving them fruit, snacks.
Candy, all sorts of processed junk food. And that act of perceived kindness is incredibly harmful.
What's the actual biological cost of that? What happens when a monkey starts eating Pringles and Skittles?
The cost is huge. First, you get severe dependency. They stop foraging for their natural diet, which is complex, leaves, roots, seeds, insects.
And the sources are really clear about the health crisis that follows. We're talking severe dental decay, tooth loss.
Right, and there are no monkey dentists in the forest, so if their teeth rot, they can't eat their natural food. It's a slow path to starvation.
And obesity, too, right? They
Mhm.
get fat, but also malnourished at the same time.
It's a paradox, yes. They're getting all these empty, sugary calories and none of the fiber and nutrients they actually need.
Then you've got the physical danger. They're not scared of cars. I read one macaque was seen with a huge chunk of its nose just gone, likely from a vehicle collision.
And that comfort level around people makes them incredibly easy targets for poachers. A poacher doesn't even have to work for it. The monkey comes right up to them.
And the invisible risks, the diseases.
Yes, we act as a vector. We pass on viruses, bacteria, parasites that their immune systems have never encountered. It can wipe out a whole troop.
So this whole cycle really highlights why getting them back to a truly wild state is so important. To really get that, we need to understand what their natural social life is supposed to look like.
Yes, what is it that we're trying to save and restore?
So what defines a Barbary macaque society? What's the blueprint?
The absolute foundation, the most important thing to know, is that they operate as a matriarchy.
A matriarchy. So the females are in charge.
In a very real sense, yes. The core stability, the alliances, the decision-making, it really resides with the older, more experienced females. Dominant males exist, of course. They have their role in protection.
But the females run the show.
They do. And grooming, that constant picking and preening you see, that's not just about hygiene.
It's social currency.
It's political. It's how they build and maintain those critical bonds. And you'll see submissive members show their rumps to dominant ones. It's a very clear, very codified way of saying, I'm not a threat.
And they are perfectly suited to their environment, right? The Atlas cedar trees.
Oh, they're expert climbers. Those trees are everything. Safety, a vantage point, and a huge source of food. They eat the leaves, seeds, roots, insects. In winter, they'll even strip the bark to survive.
Okay, let's get to their reproductive strategy, because this is where I think the design is it's genius.
It's absolutely fascinating. When a female is ready to mate, she signals it very clearly. Her rear end, her perineal region, swells up and turns a very bright red.
Can't miss it.
You can't. And this is followed by what's called polyandrous mating. She will actively mate with many different males in the troop during that time.
So the result is that paternity is always a mystery.
It's deliberately and entirely ambiguous. No one knows who the father is.
And this is the key. This is the aha moment. Why would nature design a system where nobody knows who the dad is?
It's the ultimate biological insurance policy for the infants. Think about it. In many other species, if a male knows for sure a baby isn't his, he might ignore it, or worse, he might harm it to bring the female back into season.
But here, because any one of the adult males could be the father.
Every single one of them has a vested interest in protecting every single baby.
It really does take a village.
It's the perfect example of that. The males take on a huge role in childcare, far more than in most other primate species. That entire stable social system is built on the shared paternity model.
Which is why breaking up a troop is so devastating beyond just losing numbers. You're destroying the whole system.
You're destroying the village. And this is why the conservation work is so critical. The good news is there's legal protection now. Morocco and Algeria have banned capturing, killing, or selling macaques.
And the EU has similar laws. But the illegal trade, it still happens. So what about the monkeys who are rescued from that trade?
They need a second chance. And this is where we have to talk about the organization AAP and the incredible work being done by their head of rescue, a biologist named Eva Schippers.
They're actually rewilding these rescued animals.
Yes. They have a secret location near Tessika National Park in Morocco. It's a forest that used to be part of the macaques' ancestral range, but they went extinct there in the 70s.
Why did they disappear from there?
A combination of habitat degradation and, critically, predation by dogs. But scientists have determined the forest can support them again, so these rescued macaques are the pioneers of a new population.
And this isn't just a case of opening a cage door and wishing them well. There's a rigorous training protocol.
Oh, it's very intensive. The whole point is to deprogram all that human interaction. The team's #1 rule is minimal human contact. Keep the monkeys as wild as possible.
So what does that look like in practice?
Well, for one, they never make direct eye contact. In macaque society, that's a challenge, a sign of aggression. So the team has to make themselves seem completely irrelevant, just part of the landscape.
And the most important part has to be the predator training. How do you teach a monkey raised in a cage to be afraid of a dog?
You have to expose them to it in a controlled way. They teach them to recognize and fear the actual threats they'll face. And dogs, feral and domestic, are a huge one, even inside the park.
What else do they train them for?
They run drills using models of theoretical wolves, birds of prey, snakes. They have to learn that fear response. Without it, they're just sitting ducks for the next poacher who comes along.
So the goal is total independence.
Complete independence, for them to be a functioning, self-sufficient troop. And the results so far are incredibly optimistic. The first group of 15 pioneer monkeys was released.
And they're tracking them.
Yes, with
Meaning-
GPS collars, they're monitoring their movements, making sure they're foraging, avoiding people, and all the signs show they are adapting well. The reintroduction is working.
So the hope is that these forests will one day be full of Barbary macaques again.
That is absolutely the goal, to see them living in their complex family units, wild and free, far away from all the threats we've talked about.
What an incredible arc. From roaming Europe in ancient times to the brink of extinction, and now this really inspiring, scientifically driven rescue effort in Morocco.
I think the big takeaway is just how deep and complicated our relationship with this species is. Our fascination with them, because they are so charismatic and intelligent, has almost been their undoing.
From eating them to turning them into props for photos.
Exactly. But it also shows that our dedication and our science can be their salvation.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with a question to think about. We've talked about how the Barbary macaque's unique social system, their whole it-takes-a-village parenting model, relies completely on that multi-male mating structure.
That biological insurance policy?
Right. So what happens when we destroy that? When poaching or captivity rips a troop apart, what does losing that village actually do to the species' ability to survive in the long run, beyond just the loss of a few individuals?
What happens when a monkey loses its village? It's something to really consider when we think about the true cost of the illegal wildlife trade.
Thank you for joining us for the deep dive. We'll be back soon with more insights from the world's most captivating sources.